Hey folks, Tom Knezek from Pinelands Nursery, and I am back today at one of our 2 native seed farms. It is a real scorcher out here today, but I want to show you one of our awesome native warm season grasses that we grow here. This is Indian grass. Also, the botanical name for it is Orgasm Newtons, and really awesome warm season grass. I love it just because it gets so tall. It's really impressive with how tall it is, but it has an expansive native range. It's really common. It's a prairie species, but it'll grow really from the Rocky Mountains all the way east until the Atlantic Ocean. It takes, and one of the reasons for that is it takes a variety of different soil conditions, moisture conditions. It is a really hardy plant that can grow in a lot of different places, and it's beautiful too. It's like you can just see these seed heads here and how opened up and how bronze and like copper they are. It's a really interesting color combo. You can kind of see them dancing in the wind a little bit, so it's beautiful as well as beneficial. And one of the things I'll also point out is a lot of the people or a lot of people think of pollinators, they want to think of flowers, and they don't often think of grasses as being so important. They provide a lot of habitat and structure for some of those flowers to hold them up, but they can also be really important to the pollinators themselves because they can be the larval host to some of these pollinators. So this plant in particular is the larval host for the salt and pepper skipper, which I just read on wildflower.org not long ago. If you haven't checked out wildflower.org, that is a great resource for finding out about some of our native plants, especially even the native grasses. So on to the next one. Walking along here and on to another warm season grass that is really cool. This one is the botanical name for it is Tridents flavus, and you might want to guess what the common name is, but a lot of people call it purple top, and you can see just why it gets that name from these brilliant purple seed heads. They are just a really awesome color. Kind of forms like a purple cloud right off the top. Similar in appearance from a distance to a purple lovegrass, this being just a lot taller than purple lovegrass is. But really cool warm season grass. These are on the taller side for where we usually see it. Typically they are a little bit shorter, maybe a foot shorter than this. These are probably about 5 to 6 feet tall, I'd say, but usually they're in that like 4-foot range. They don't get quite this tall, but a really beautiful grass. Tends to like it on the drier side. Also has a really wide native range across much of the southeast up into the mid-Atlantic. But it's a really nice prairie-esque type grass that adds a little bit of color punch as well that you don't usually get from some of these other grasses. So really neat, another neat plant. And just like the Indian grass, this supports a lot of different skippers as a larval host. The caterpillars will actually live on the leaves of this plant until they pupate and turn into skippers. So another really awesome plant. So what are we gonna find next? So I moved over to our other seed farm because over here we have our butterfly demonstration garden, and including some other warm season grasses like these 2 here. You can see the shorter one in the front, and in the back, just in front of those yellow flowers, there's a little bit taller one. Well, these are 2 other warm season grasses. In the front you have Schizocarium, scoparium, also pronounced Schizocarium, scoparium, which is little blue stem. And then behind it, you have Andropogon gerardi, which is big blue stem. So they actually used to be both in the Andropogon family, and then a couple years ago, they changed the little blue stem's botanical name to Schizocarium. Both really awesome prairie grasses, native to, again, a bunch of North America, especially going through the prairies into the East Coast. But they are a little bit different, and that is, if you look at the little blue stem, ours tend to, at least from seed in this garden, they're on a little bit on the greener side. When you're growing from seed, you're gonna have some that look like this. You're gonna have some that are a lot bluer in the stem, hence the name blue stem. And you can just see how cool it looks, just kind of flowing in the breeze. It's a really nice grass. Only gets 2 to 3 feet tall. Maybe at most it'll get up to 4 feet tall. These tend to be on the taller side, right in our demonstration garden here. From what I typically see, tends to stand upright, doesn't really flop over. likes it on the drier side. If it gets too wet, you can have it flop over a little bit, but provides so much habitat, and it's really beneficial because it stays lower to the ground. So you can use it in on DOT right-of-ways on the edge of roads, because it's not going to get too high where it's going to be in the way of sight lines, where the big blue stem might. Now, they're both awesome for not just for wildlife habitat, but also they are the larval hosts for a lot of different skippers and butterflies. Now, the big blue stem is a little bit, well, quite a bit taller. This can get up to 6 or 7 feet. And but another really cool grass, and it moves so nice in the wind and the breeze, doesn't it? But this is going to like it a little bit wetter, and for it to grow optimally, and it has such cool seed heads, which if I walk down to our other little patch just down the way here, you'll see one of the reasons it has another common name, and that common name is turkey foot. We got a handful of plants just on their own right here, and you can see why it would get that common name, because it looks like a turkey footprint. If you were to see one in the sand, that's what it's going to look like. It's just going to be those 3 toes just like that. So another really cool plant, great for habitat, great for riparian zones. It's part of that big 4 warm season grasses with the big blue stem, little blue stem, the Indian grass, which we showed you first, and then you also have Panicum virgatum, which is switchgrass, in there as well. I skipped that one, and we showed you the Tridents flavus, since I think that's a really awesome grass, and we just have a really cool trial garden over here that we kind of put in some stuff. It was actually one of our employees, Carla, who designed this and put it all together, and now we really get to enjoy it, see all the pollinators, and really see how some of this stuff looks when it's fully grown. When you're growing stuff in containers, we're growing it in 2-inch plugs, we don't always get to see it. We were only seeing it when it's a baby. We don't get to see it when it's fully grown and it's in its full glory. So thank you again for watching this, guys. I'm really enjoying making them. It gets me out of the office and into the field, and I get to see some of these plants that I'm talking about all the time, and it's really enjoyable. So if you can do us a favor, hit like on the video, hit subscribe, and then you'll get each one when they come out. We're doing this weekly, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you for watching.